This thing's definitely not a Harley Davidson. It's a Honda, but it's still pretty damn cool. The Honda Rebel CMX250C has been around on and off since 1985 and has changed very little. Some things you may notice on the newer models is that the airbox and the battery cover have changed a little bit, and the rear suspension springs are silver instead of a nice gold color like you'll find on the older ones. Notice here the airbox cover is actually squared off and chrome covered, whereas on the newer ones it's a completely different design over the airbox and the battery. Through the years, these things have been built with different color schemes and different graphics, but essentially the motorcycle has remained the same. A single front disc, single rear drum brake, and big goofy flag mirrors up above. In stock configuration, they always seem to come with a rear seat, although I don't know why you would try to put somebody on the back of the bike, because with only 234 cubic centimeters of displacement, the engine is only putting out about 16 horsepower. If you couple that small amount of power with the small braking abilities of the bike, riding two up is generally not going to be recommended. In the aftermarket, folks tend to do a lot of customizations to the bike with bolt-ons like backrests for your pillion, or even things like add saddlebags. But again, why add the extra weight to a small powered motorcycle? I don't know, but lots of people do it with all different types of configurations. You'll even find people who put crash bars on their bikes and things like windshields. The bike barely does 70 miles an hour. Do you really need a windshield? I don't know. Some people seem to think so there's plenty of windshield options available. As a matter of fact, as you start bolting on these accessories, the bike actually takes on the look of a much larger bike. Then you get into the actual customization of the bike, and you'll see people do all sorts of interesting things, oftentimes with a custom rear fender or a custom seat. And then you get into the bobber scene, where besides custom rear fenders, you even tend to see no front fender at all. Folks tend to do things like chop the rear fender, put custom turn signals on the bike, wrap the exhaust headers, or even do things like put big ape hanger bars on the bike. Remember, this is a 250. Still looks cool though. Sometimes you'll even see them with no rear fender at all and white wall tires. So here's the bike as I picked it up, already fairly customized with a custom paint job, beautiful green color, black front fender, single seat configuration. The rear tail light has been Frenched in underneath the bobtail fender. Side mount license plate, custom small bullet turn signals. The whole purpose of purchasing this bike was to give Nicole, a beginning rider, a decent bike that she could learn on and not be scared by an overwhelming amount of power or weight. And for this purpose, the Rebel 250 is an outstanding machine. For a rider of her size, the bike is actually a very decent fit. Here's the bike as it currently exists after some very minor modifications. To tune the bike up, it still has the custom paint job on it. Up close, the front fender clearly could use some attentions. Front headlight, retainer ring has been painted with a hammered finish, mostly to hide flaws. The speedometer could use a similar treatment. The original ram horn style handlebars have been replaced with a motocross style handlebars. And you'll notice that the original mirror mounts are still here, though the right side mount is currently no longer in use, and the broken left side mount is also left as it was. Instead of the stock mirrors, some Cafe Racer bar end style mirrors have been used. Note again that the bike has been converted to a single seat configuration, and the taillight has been Frenched into the back of the bobtail. Small profile bullet turn signals all around. And you'll notice that the battery box cover has been painted black, as has the airbox cover on the other side. overall a good looking bike. So we've seen that the bike is adequate for a medium-sized lightweight rider such as Nicole. What about a big fat ass? Well, the fact is, in the custom bike scene, most of the customizers tend to be men, and there are plenty of men customizing and riding these bikes. So how about yours truly on this little 250? Believe it or not, this bike, while I can't say it's a rocket ship, it does get up and go. And since it's such a lightweight, we even find that the tiny brakes on this bike actually do a fantastic job of getting it to stop. Stay tuned as we further modify this Honda Rebel CMX250C.